So you guys wanted to explore the lineage of Jesus,
Uh-huh.
and we found a text by Father M. Devadas.
Okay.
He founded the Bible Mission back in 1938.
Wow.
It traces Jesus's ancestry
Interesting.
through some pretty important Old Testament figures.
I like it.
And get this,
Yeah.
it emphasizes God's promise of a Savior
Mm-hmm.
from the very beginning.
That's a long game.
Talk about a long game.
What I find fascinating is how Father Devadas uses this lineage
Okay,
to unpack the theme of redemption.
right.
It's not just a family tree.
Yeah.
It's a story that echoes from Eve all the way to Jesus.
Okay, that's a great point.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about who begat who,
Right.
but the deeper meaning behind it all.
Exactly.
Let's start at the beginning
Okay.
with Eve.
Mm-hmm.
God promises her that a savior will come from her line,
Right.
even though she's just messed things up pretty badly
Yeah.
in the Garden of
And
Eden.
the fall.
I mean, is that ironic or what?
It's more than ironic. It's foundational. Right from the start, God establishes redemption as a core theme.
Wow.
He's already setting his plan in motion,
Yeah.
promising to fix what's been broken.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
I know, right?
It's like God is saying, okay, you messed up,
Yeah.
but I've already got a plan to make things right.
He's got our backs.
But then we get to Abraham.
Okay.
He's considered the father of faith,
Yep.
right?
Uh-huh.
But he also doubted and
Yeah.
messed up a few times.
He was human.
Does Father Devadas dig into that at all?
He does. And it
Yeah.
raises a fascinating question.
Oh,
Does God require perfect faith?
interesting.
Or is it the struggle itself that matters?
Hmm.
Abraham's doubts actually highlight the idea
Okay.
that faith isn't about blind belief.
Yeah.
It's about wrestling with doubt
Okay.
and choosing to trust even when things are tough.
So it's more about the journey
I think so.
than arriving at some perfect state of belief.
Yeah,
I can relate to that.
me too.
Okay, but what about Isaac? He seems like a bit of a quieter character
He is.
compared to his father.
Totally.
What's his role in all of this?
Isaac inherits this incredible legacy of faith,
Uh-huh.
this promise that his descendants will be blessed
Okay,
and ultimately bring forth the Messiah.
right.
And while he may not be as dramatic as Abraham,
Yeah.
his life still reflects this unbroken chain,
Yeah.
linking each generation to the next.
It's like this thread of destiny
That's a great way to put it.
running through their lives.
I like that.
But then there's Jacob,
Oh, yeah,
the guy who wrestled with God.
literally.
That's got to be a story for the ages.
It is.
What does Father Devadas make of that whole wrestling match?
Well, Jacob is certainly one of the more complex figures.
Yeah, he is.
He's known for his cunning,
Yeah,
his struggles with his brother,
right.
and yet there's this profound transformation that takes place.
Hmm.
He wrestles with God,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively.
It's intense.
And he comes out of it changed. He becomes Israel,
Wow.
a new name signifying a deeper spiritual understanding.
It's like he had to go through that intense struggle
I think so.
to really get it,
Yeah,
to fully embrace his role in God's plan. Is pretty intense.
it is.
But then we have Judah.
Oh,
Okay.
what did he do?
His story is a bit harder to swallow.
Oh, really?
I mean, he sleeps with his daughter-in-law,
Wow.
thinking she's a prostitute,
Oh, man.
and then condemns her to death
Wow.
when he finds out she's pregnant.
No way.
How does Father Devadas handle that?
Judah's story often raises eyebrows.
Yeah, no kids.
But rather than shying away from it,
Okay.
Father Devadas uses it to demonstrate the vastness of God's forgiveness. Judah acknowledges his terrible mistake,
Okay.
and he shows genuine remorse.
So he's really sorry?
He is.
That's good, at least.
What's important here is that God doesn't discard him.
Right.
He redeems him.
So it's not about pretending these mistakes didn't happen.
No.
It's about facing them head on and acknowledging the power of forgiveness.
Exactly.
That's a pretty tough lesson,
It is.
but an important one.
For sure.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's like no matter how badly we mess up,
Right.
God can still work through us if
Mhm.
we're truly sorry
Yeah.
and willing to change.
If our hearts are in the right place.
It's a pretty powerful message,
It is.
especially when you think about how judgmental we can be
Oh, yeah.
towards each other sometimes.
All the time.
Okay, now we've got to talk about King David.
Okay, bring on the king.
He's like the rock star of the Old Testament,
He is.
but he's also known for making some big mistakes.
He's got that rock star lifestyle.
Does Father Devadas gloss over that?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
He acknowledges David's flaws,
Okay,
specifically the incident with Bathsheba
right.
and Uriah,
Yeah, that whole thing.
but he also emphasizes David's deep devotion
Okay.
and sincere remorse.
So it's a reminder that even the heroes of faith mess up.
They do.
This human,
Totally human.
just like us.
Just like us.
It's how they respond to those mistakes
Yeah.
that seems to matter most.
I think you're right.
And that brings us to Mary,
Mother of Jesus.
the mother of Jesus.
Yeah.
She's portrayed as pure and sinless.
Right.
Which is a pretty stark contrast
Yes.
to all the flawed figures we've just been discussing.
That's a really interesting observation.
Oh, thanks.
This contrast highlights Mary's unique role in the story.
Okay.
While the other figures demonstrate the need for redemption,
Yeah.
Mary embodies purity and obedience to God's will.
So she's different.
She
She's
is
special.
very special.
Interesting.
She becomes the vessel for God's incarnation.
Right.
The vessel.
So she's like the culmination of all these generations,
Yes.
all this striving and messing up.
Uh-huh.
And then we have this incredible woman who
Yes.
embodies grace and purity.
That's Mary.
It's kind of breathtaking when you think about it that way.
It really is.
It really is. It really hits you how intentional God's plan is, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, he's been weaving this incredible story
Yeah.
for generations leading up to Jesus.
Right.
But there's one thing I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Okay. What's that?
Father Devadas talks a lot about God's love.
Yeah.
But how does that love work with all these flawed people?
Hmm.
It seems like they're constantly messing up.
That's the beauty of it.
What is?
God's love isn't some reward for good behavior.
Okay.
It's not like he's saying, be perfect and then I'll love you.
Right.
It's a love that's given freely,
Regardless of it.
regardless of our flaws.
Okay. So it's not about earning God's love.
Nope.
That seems counterintuitive to how
Yeah.
we often think about things.
Exactly.
And that's where the concept of grace comes in.
Grace.
It's this unearned favor, this undeserved love that God showers on us.
I like that showered on us.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
God doesn't wait for us to clean up our act
Uh-huh.
before he loves us.
Nope. He loves us as we are,
Mess and all.
mess and all,
And then his grace helps us to change,
to change.
to become more like him.
So it's not about being perfect,
Wow.
but about being open to God's transforming power.
That's it.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you look at those figures in Jesus' lineage,
Hmm.
they're not exactly role models,
Not all of them.
but they still play a vital role in God's plan.
They do.
You know, it's easy to get bogged down
Uh-huh.
in the individual stories.
Yeah.
Does Father Devadas tie it all together?
He does.
Or is it just a collection of
Not just a collection.
interesting ancestors?
He definitely connects it all back to the bigger picture.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Remember, this lineage isn't just about genealogy.
Right.
It's about God's unwavering commitment to humanity,
Wow.
his promise to bring redemption and hope into the world.
That makes me think about how we celebrate Christmas today.
How so?
It's so easy to get caught up in
Yeah.
the commercialism and festivities.
And lose sight of the deeper meaning.
You're absolutely right.
I am.
That's why exploring this lineage can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Especially during the Christmas season.
Mhm.
It helps us see beyond the presents and decorations
Yeah.
and reconnect with the heart of the story.
Okay.
God's love for us
Right.
made manifest in Jesus.
So it's not just about a baby in a manger,
Nope.
but about this incredible act of love,
Mm-hmm.
this promise fulfilled after generations of waiting and anticipation.
Precisely.
It really is amazing when you think about it.
It is.
By tracing this lineage,
Yeah.
we gain a deeper appreciation for the magnitude of what God has done.
I really do.
It's a story that unfolds over centuries,
Centuries.
culminating in this incredible moment
Yeah.
of God becoming human.
Right?
And it's a reminder that God is still working
Yes.
in the world today,
Yeah.
weaving his story of redemption and hope
Into our lives.
into our lives.
That's right.
But here's what I'm wrestling with.
Okay, shoot.
If God's love is so unconditional,
Yeah.
why do we still see so much suffering and brokenness in the world?
That's a good question.
I mean, if he's so committed to humanity,
Yeah.
why hasn't he fixed it all yet?
That's a question that has challenged theologians and philosophers
Wow.
for centuries.
I bet.
And there are no easy answers.
That's for sure.
But I think one key takeaway from this lineage
Okay, what is it?
is that God works through flawed individuals, through messy and imperfect situations.
So he's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
He's not.
He doesn't just wave a magic wand
No magic wand.
and make everything perfect.
No,
He invites us to participate in his plan,
he does.
to be agents of change
Uh-huh.
and healing in the world. So it's like, he's saying, I'm here.
He's here.
I love you.
And
He loves you.
I'm working to make things right.
That's right.
but I need your help.
He needs us.
I need you to be my hands and feet in the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And it brings us back to the theme of grace.
Okay.
God's grace isn't just about forgiveness.
Yours more.
It's about empowerment.
Wow.
It's about him giving us the strength and the courage
Yeah.
to face the challenges of life and to work towards a better future.
It's like that idea of being a broken vessel.
A broken vessel.
We might be cracked and flawed,
We are.
but God can still use us
Yes, he can.
to pour out his love and grace into the world.
Exactly.
But there's one other thing I've been thinking about.
Okay.
Father Devadas talks about redemption.
Redemption.
But what does that actually mean for us?
Yeah, good question.
Does it just mean going to heaven when we die?
That's part of it.
That's
But
not-
redemption is about so much more than just the afterlife.
Oh, really?
It's about being restored to wholeness,
Okay.
about experiencing God's love and transformation
In this life?
in our lives right now.
Right now.
Think about Jacob.
Okay.
He wrestled with God.
He did.
He went through intense struggles,
Intense.
but ultimately he
Yeah.
emerged transformed.
A new man.
A new man.
So it's not about escaping this world,
No.
but about allowing God to change us,
To heal us.
to heal us.
And make us more like him
while we're still here.
while we're still here.
That's a much more appealing concept.
Don't you think?
I do. I do.
Really?
It makes a lot more sense.
And it's a process.
Not a destination.
That's right.
We'll never be perfect.
Nope.
But we can constantly be growing and evolving.
Becoming more like the people God created us to be.
And that's an exciting thought.
Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like this grand adventure of faith.
I like that.
And even though there will be bumps along the road,
There will be bumps.
we can trust that God is with us
He is
every step of the way.
every step.
Okay, so we've talked about these overarching themes
Yeah.
of redemption,
Redemption.
grace,
Grace.
God's love,